A space of love, a space of healing, and a space of growth. This podcast was created to break generational curses. I'm your host, Pink Rose. Welcome to the Don't Recycle Projects. Welcome to the Don't Recycle Projects. I just want to say thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for taking the time. Like, I know you guys have busy lives, busy schedules, traffic. It's all kind of stuff going on that keeps us so busy. And I'm so grateful and honored that you guys are taking the time to tune in to my podcast. I'm so honored and humbled that God chose me to create this platform and just be able to shed light and insight and enlighten you guys and educate you guys and inspire and be inspired and learn and create. I'm just so excited that I was chosen for this. So welcome to the Don't Recycle Project. I'm your host, Pink Rose. Who is Pink Rose? Let's talk about that for a second. Who is Pink Rose? I used to get asked this question and I would feel like I had to say like a job title or how much money I make or make it sound super like special. But now I know that I'm still defining it, but Pink Rose, it's not what I do, it's who am I? I'm a person just like you. I'm somebody that's been hurt. I'm somebody that's done the hurt. I'm somebody who's been knocked down. I've gotten up. I've bounced back. I've been set back. I'm somebody just like you. I'm just trying to heal. I'm trying to evolve. And I'm just walking in my purpose. And that's exactly who I am. If I had to sum it up in a paragraph. What are my hats? What do I do? I can finally answer that question. What do I do? Well, I do a few things. I wear a few hats. The most important hat I wear, I'm a mother to my two teenage high school daughters. High schoolers. Yes, I said that. They keep me on my toes. They keep me looking around the corner. Like what? I have high schoolers. It's crazy. And my heart goes out to my parents because I know I was a hot mess back when I was in high school. So please keep me in your prayers because high school ain't no joke. And I'm also a music artist. I use music to spread my art, to share my art, to create and just share light. My music it's just something I do. It's something I use to express myself. So you can check me out on all streaming platforms, Pink Rose. I'm also a psychiatric registered nurse, which means I work as a mental health nurse at the hospital in the mental health community. That job, that hat it can be heavy. It's humbling. It's so rewarding at the same time because I get a chance to touch so many people from so many walks of life, rich, poor, black, white, Hispanic, it doesn't matter. People from all walks of life. I see kids, I see old people, I see everybody in my job as a nurse, and it keeps me humble, and it also reminds me that I have to really take care of my mind because nobody's above or beneath being mentally ill. Like none of us. Like we all have mental health that could easily become mental illness. So please take care of your mental health, take care of your family, and look out for your loved ones because it's real. So yeah, that's who I am and that's what I do. Now, what is the Don't Recycle Project? I get this question a lot. I get the craziest reactions when people hear the name. Like some people love it, and then I also have those people who are like, why would you promote not to recycle something? Like what is Don't Recycle? So let me put this out there as a disclaimer. We are not talking about plastic or metal or anything from the environment, right? We are talking about things like trauma, like low self-esteem, like abandonment issues, like neglect, those kind of issues. We're talking about things that get passed down from generation to generation. The junk that should not get passed down, that is not useful. So that's what the Don't Recycle Project is. I started this, it was an idea that came to me a few years ago. Like literally I was in the midst of my own like turmoil with my family. I had got into it with a family member, and literally after, the situation, I just remember like hearing in my head, like God spoke to me, don't recycle. And I'm like, don't recycle. And in that moment, it was like, I knew it was something big. Like, it wasn't just one of those thoughts that come to you that you just like, okay, I don't know why I just thought that. But it was one of those that was like, what? Don't recycle. It just felt so powerful to me. And I knew I had to do something with it. I'm like, is it a t-shirt? Is it like, what is don't recycle? And here we are, lo and behold, it's a podcast. And this platform, I'm just using this to be able to, like I said, enlighten, inspire, to educate, to teach, to help you evolve and remove any blockages that are keeping you from not living your highest self, from not reaching your potential. I just want to use this platform to be able to shed light on so many different topics that I don't think we talk about often enough, like healing and trauma and, struggles within our families and disease and, poor eating habits, poor finance habits, just things that are passed down in our families that kind of get just swept under the rug because we just think it's who we are. Whole time it was our behavior patterns that we didn't take a closer look at. So that's what I'm going to do on this podcast. I want to take a closer look at how we behave and just how we're showing up in this world. So yes, again, thank you for joining me on the Don't Recycle Project. And the mission is to break generational curses. If I had to put it super simple, that's the mission. Break generational curses. That's what we're doing. So in order to do that, we have to really like understand like the verbiage we use and like these terms, like trauma. What is trauma? Before, I used to think trauma was like something super like big, like molestation or being hit by a car, something like super big that you really, you see it in movies that you really were going to need therapy afterwards from that situation. So that made me kind of not look at myself, being that I had a pretty seemingly normal childhood. I had family that loved me. I had food on the table. I had clean clothes. So trauma, I haven't been traumatized. So I thought as a kid growing up, until, you begin to get older and things start to, look differently to you. The world begins to look different because you're more aware and you're able to, see where you're not equipped for certain situations, whether you're not able to, you don't have the highest self-esteem, and you start to think back to different, events from childhood and say, wow, okay, that's where I picked up that thought pattern or that thought process. That's where I started to doubt myself because I was told that I couldn't do this or couldn't do that. So a lot of us have been traumatized, by loved ones or by ourselves, by friends. We've been traumatized without even realizing we've been traumatized, which means that a lot of us are walking around with like wounds that we never healed or took time to heal because we didn't think we really had any wounds. So we're just walking around bleeding out, bleeding on others, not showing up as our highest selves or our best selves because we never took time to heal. So trauma, it is a deeply distressing or disturbing experience. That means that trauma is a very subjective experience. A subjective experience means that it's personal to you. It means that nobody else can define trauma for you. That means your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your teacher. No one can say, oh, you haven't been traumatized or that wasn't trauma. You're overreacting. If you felt like you were deeply distressed or disturbed by something that happened to you, then that's trauma. And it's worth you taking a closer look to see if you've healed it. If, you gotta reveal it first. You gotta admit that it's there, and then you can heal it. Then you can do the work to move forward. But a lot of us we've thought we've moved forward because we're getting older. We look different in the mirror. Life can look different. You might move to a new city. But if you're still carrying the same baggage, you still got the same wounds, those don't go anywhere. It's still you. You might hear someone, complaining about a job or, an experience where they don't get along with anybody. So they go from one job to the next job, and they have the same experience. people here, stuck up or this or that, but they never took time to look in the mirror and see what part they were playing, which is why you keep attracting the same experiences. So we have to take time to heal so that we can really do the work, so that we can experience new things in this life. We're here to experience a new day. Every day is a new day for you to experience something new, not continue to relive the past. So that's what trauma is. It's personal to you. No one can tell you how you should feel or how you should heal or how long healing should take, what healing should look like. Nobody can tell you how you should feel, which leads me to my next question. Did we give our wounds the proper care? A lot of us have gone through, again, traumatic experiences, but because it didn't look like trauma, we put a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. We didn't actually take the time to really look at that pain and say, okay, is this worth me dealing with? Should I go to therapy for this? Do I need to sit by myself for a little bit and not date anybody else until I really get through this feeling or this emotion? A lot of us have just kept moving forward, which does nothing but keep you stuck. And now you're adding on to the trauma when you keep living life with new experiences, but you're still getting hurt more and more, never taking the time to heal what happened before. So heal yourself, because if you don't, that turns into an infection, which then bleeds on your children, your grandchildren, and it affects them, and they didn't ask for that. They didn't ask to go through what you never healed from. So it's your duty to do the work. Your duty. It's your job. And again, it's not always easy. It's not always easy to heal. What is healing? Healing is to become healthy again. Becoming healthy again is not easy, because that looks like forgiving yourself. That looks like forgiving others that may never give you an apology for what they did to you. It may be a parent, a grandparent, a sister, your spouse, your children. It could be people very close to you that you would have never thought would hurt you. And they may never admit that they hurt you. They may never say, hey, I'm sorry I did this to you. Let's move forward. It may look like you having to take the initiative to just say, hey, even if they're not sorry, I forgive you. I forgive them, because that forgiveness is for you. It's not for them. It's not so that they can get a one-up on you. It's not so that they can be better than you. It is for you. If you don't heal, it's basically like them hurting you and then you continuing to basically do the same pain to yourself every day. Cut yourself in the same spot they cut you every day, expecting them to apologize. That's self-inflicted pain at that point. So you're accountable not for what happened, but you are accountable to heal. It's your job to do the work. It's not your job to blame parents. You can't blame people into doing the work and saying that they're sorry. Some people honestly don't care. They don't want to take accountability for what they did. They don't want to sit with themselves. They're not at the stage of their healing journey or their own journey to even be aware of what they did to you. So sometimes it looks like you having to say, hey, they may not be sorry, but I forgive them anyway, because that's going to unblock that for you in order to move forward. And I think that's a beautiful place to start this podcast, to just be able to forgive those who have done us wrong, so that we can see ourselves and, forgive them, forgive yourself, so that you can move forward, so that you can move in a healthier direction, make better choices for yourself, not from a trauma standpoint or a victim standpoint. To be a victim means that you just gave your power away. It means that you're just continuing to basically say you have no control over your feelings or your emotions or the happiness or the enjoyment of your life. You're just letting that person and that experience control you for the rest of your life. And I just feel like that's such a disservice to you. You deserve to live a beautiful, big life, fresh start, new start. It just takes you doing one simple step, making peace with that situation, your past, and forgiving them. And it won't be easy. It's not going to happen overnight. But I think that once you just wake up and realize that that needs to happen, it gets easier, it gets easier, it gets easier, and you start to see life for what it truly is, an experience, a beautiful experience. So yes, forgive yourself, forgive others. parents. Let's talk about parents, because that's a hard one. My parents, I had my own issues with my own parents for a long time. Just especially as I got older, just thinking that I had this expectation that they should have done certain things. They gave me my physiological needs, such as food, water. We had air conditioning in the summertime. I had a clean bed to sleep in, a roof over my head, clean clothes. And I think with that, I just, as a kid, I thought that was all I needed from them. And maybe they thought that's all I needed from them as well. But, as I got older and there were, these different thought patterns that I had, like, why is my self-esteem low? Why do I feel like I, don't know how to show up in certain relationships, like intimate relationships? And just realizing that I hadn't really been equipped or taught these lessons or shown, a lot of the things that I felt like I needed as an adult. So as I became an adult, I began to like resent my parents for like feeling like they didn't give me what I needed to thrive. And it took a while because there were, I kept then experiencing my own situations from relationships, choosing partners that were not the best for me. Let me say it that way. Choosing partners that were not the best for me, that I knew weren't the best for me, but then also wanting to blame, like, this is why I chose this person because I wasn't taught. So it's kind of like always blaming someone outside of myself and keeping myself in this victim mentality. So until I got, older and I started doing like the inner work and really like healing myself and just, reading about forgiveness and what that looked like, and also having my own kids and realizing how I show up for them. And it's sometimes I fall short. I'm not the best parent, of the world, but, I know I do my best. They know I do my best. I give them, what I feel like they need. Every day, is not the same. There's highs, there's lows. However, we do our best as my parents did their best. So that really, helped me to empathize with, what they had to go through and what it was like to raise two kids in the era that, I grew up. They didn't have all the resources. They didn't have TikTok, Instagram, memes, and all these different resources that I feel like we have today. So that was something big for me. That was a big blockage, just really forgiving my parents. And I love my parents so much, and they're so, amazing. They're in my daughter's lives. They're so close. And I just see two people who, did the best they could, what they had. And for that, I'm forever grateful. So, forgive your parents, because a lot of them, they had limited resources, and we're evolving as we, grow. And it's our job not to look back with resentment, but to look back and say, okay, what didn't they have and what areas did they fall short that I can now build on and do better for my kids, for the future generations. So don't blame your parents. Don't blame your grandparents. Don't blame, just do better. I really want to make that clear. Don't blame, do better. So yeah, and that comes by giving grace and compassion. I know we've, endured a lot of painful, situations that have led to painful outcomes, but you can't continue to blame. You have to take accountability. You have to heal. You have to allow yourself to heal. It's funny that our bodies were equipped to heal. We had to just get out of the way. Like if you cut yourself, your body's going to begin to fuse your cells back together. It's going to bleed, scab, do everything it needs to heal itself. So you're equipped to do the work and to heal naturally. But when you keep the brain's funny, because the brain holds on to memories, and it wants to keep reliving that experience so that we can just we want to feel that feeling, and we don't realize that that's all it's doing is keeping us stuck in that same cycle of pain. So in order to truly heal, you have to say, okay, brain, I hear and I know what I went through, but it's no longer serving me to replay these thoughts and replay that experience. That's not serving me anymore. I don't need to remember how that felt every day. I don't need to feel those feelings anymore. I'm letting that go, because if you're going to keep reliving it, it's just keeping you stuck. We have to get unstuck so we can move forward, which means forgive, which means take accountability and just let it go. And I'm not saying that lightweight, that's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. It is worth it, yes. So just continue to do the work. just to wrap this episode up, I just want to say the main thing is you have to forgive. You have to take accountability, because those are the major things that are going to allow you to realize that you're in the driver's seat of this experience. So you have to forgive. You have to take accountability. Get unstuck. Get unstuck. That's what we're going to do on this podcast. I'm excited that I get to educate, again, empower, and just inspire you guys to just continue to move forward on this journey, because it is a journey. We're all on the journey. We're on this journey together. So let's get it. I'm looking forward to this experience with you. A few affirmations about forgiveness. I just want you guys to repeat that you are whole, you are forgiven, you are healed, and it's going to be okay. No matter what you're going through, you're going to be okay. And if you are someone that you know are having, any suicidal thoughts or any, your depression is just out of hand, definitely get a hold of someone who's in the professional field that can help you. Thank you again for taking the time to tune in to the Don't Recycle Project. Please follow us on IG at Don't Recycle Project. Recycle your environmental waste like plastic, metal. Please like and subscribe if you have not already. Until next time, I'm Rose. Thank you.